So there are commentators around today who feel that this Generation Z as they're known, have been growing up in what we might call McMansions in the urban fringe. And in these McMansions, which now the footprint on the block fills up most of it, in these McMansions we've got rid of the backyard per se and replaced it with a designer outdoor deck and some designer barbecue and seating arrangements. And in doing so, we've seemed to have got rid of our idea of a cricket pitch or idea of a play space for kids in nature. We've also retreated inside these houses, inside the fences, for fear of safety for our children, and we are now living in what we would call a risk-averse society, and the idea that kids need to be bubble wrapped and protected has never been more salient, even though actual crime statistics don't reflect this shift. So this retreat into this urbanised fortress, if you like, has meant that kids are now growing up in walled backyards, and they're being disconnected from nature and they're being disconnected from others. We're not seeing the street cricket like we would have seen in my childhood. We're not seeing kids socialise after school like they used to. And we're not seeing kids develop these attachments not only to place but to each other in ways that are not structured by adults. Instead, what we have is organised structured sport, organised structured play sessions, and organised and structured and manufactured by adults. And this removes some of the spontaneity that children's play offers. It removes the idea that in a sporting context or a physical activity or a game that kids have control, and it puts the control in the hands of adults, and adults are the one that shape the perimeters and structure it. So I think there's a lot of issues at play here for people who are working in the sport, recreation or physical education field. There's implications for nature and environment, there's implications for health and well-being, and there's implications for the way we deal with organised sport versus free play and unstructured activity for kids. And I think it's our loss if children are not given the opportunities to participate in unstructured play free from adult intervention. Children growing up today have a wide access to a range of activities that they can do indoors. These indoor activities are largely sedentary and comprise a range of interactive technological activities that seem to entertain and keep children's interest for long periods of time. While some would argue they're socially connecting through social networks online, others may say that this is a disconnection or a disconnect, and particularly with opportunities to do physical activity. The data is out, or the jury is out at the moment, as to whether screen time decreases activity levels, but there certainly are implications for the way kids interact and socialise and connect with the outside world. This turbocharging of children's lifestyles has meant that children's time is heavily structured. The outside world is presented as a dark and dangerous place to be. As a nation, we've never been more afraid, and this is contrary to the evidence that suggests that we've never been safer. Evidence from our research suggests that the act of walking to school is now a heavily guarded space. Parents are fearful of what might happen to their child on their way to or from school. This is something that would never have happened when I was growing up. Children were given the freedom and the independence to negotiate their own neighbourhoods and their own communities, often coming home when the lights came on. Giving kids access to free play is important for their physical development and their imagination.
It's a time machine and can look back in time, and I train her how to fight monsters.
They develop an affinity for nature, and when they're outside they're physically active.
Look at all the spiders on that! There's one!
We can all think back and remember a special place where we grew up, a place that had meaning to us, a place where we could explore. By denying children access to outdoor play spaces, we might be impacting their environmental competence, their sense of purpose, their self-worth and efficacy, their social confidence, and even their resilience. So what happens to children who lose interest in organised sport? Playing, spending time outdoors is an important part of children's development. It's an important part of their physical development, develops their strength, coordination, motor skills, and prepares them for a life outside of sport that's still physically active and engaged. What do you like about being outside?
The fresh air.